I'm here with Duncan Kenworthy, one of the most successful producers in Britain of all time.
Oh, really?
Oh, well, I do believe so, yes.
Don't exaggerate.
And currently just produced The Eagle. You've had a bit of a break from producing, as I understand it. How was it coming back?
It was fantastic. I mean, it made me wonder why I had had such a break. I mean, I know why I had. I had some years running BAFTA as chairman of BAFTA, but then also I waited for Kevin MacDonald for 2.5 years while he did State of Play, because I thought he was the perfect director for this. And so yeah, it was longer than I'd expected, and it was fantastic to be back. And I hope to continue making films a little bit more rapidly in the future.
And I mean, you're better known for producing lovely comedies. And how was it now switching to a bit more of an actioner?
You know, everyone's taste is broader than they're ever allowed to demonstrate, and I love romantic comedies, and I hope that I'll make my next film would be a romantic film. But also, I love these sorts of historical, excuse me, fictions, and you know, I was obsessed when I was a teenager with Roman Britain, and so it's great for me to come back to that.
Our new commander, Marcus Aquila.
4th Cohort of Gauls, 2nd Legion.
This your first command, sir?
It is.
Ready? On my command!
Do you have a favourite Roman on film?
Well, you know, it's sort of an obvious one. I really love Gladiator. You know, I'm a big fan of that film. I mean, this isn't a sort of attempt to be the sequel to Gladiator. It's not doing the same thing. It's not that big. It's not an epic, really. Everyone always, when they see the word Roman, adds epic to it. It isn't a Roman epic. It's a Roman adventure. But no, I thought Ridley and Russell Crowe did a brilliant job of that film.
With this one, I mean, you say it's not epic. Would you say there's a little bit of a Brokeback Mountain undertone there? I caught a bit of a Brokeback Mountain undertone myself. I'm not going to deny that if people see it. Absolutely. I mean, it's undeniable that there is no woman in the film. There's, you know, we didn't shoehorn a love story in just to demonstrate that our heroes were heterosexual. You know, we don't, and so yeah, no, it's just a movie about guys in a sort of military atmosphere at the beginning and going on a journey together. The only emotional relationship in the film is between our two leads. Whether you call that Brokeback, I don't know. We'll leave it to the viewers to decide.
Yeah.
Then I'll take Eska.
He's a slave. He does what he does because he has to.
I heard everything you stand for.
He will slit your throat the minute you're alone.
There is, as you say, it's a guy's film, and you know there's a lot of testosterone-fueled battles there. I mean, obviously the director wants to amp that up, but as producer, you're tasked with putting out the on-set battles. You didn't have too much to do there, I hope.
Well, you know, I just want to pick you up on it's a guy's film. I think it's a girl's film just as much because it's about guys. It isn't just about action. And in fact, the people who've been most passionate in their reactions to me, telling me how much they absolutely adored the film, were often girls, because I think it's about relationships. Yes, there's action. It isn't, but it isn't about blood and guts for blood and guts' sake. And you know, there's a lot of eye candy for the girls too, not so much for the guys. So I think it's going to appeal, hopefully, equally to girls and guys.
How many days to the war? We ride hard. 4, maybe 5.
They'll never catch us on foot.
Have you seen them run?
All right, a bit of a curveball, silly question for you now.
Go on, throw your worst at me.
Oh, not the worst.
On,
We're not that sort of a site. We just want to know how the film.
Yeah, you're just obsessed with film.
Exactly.
I know, yeah.
Have you ever lost anything that you've been so desperate to get back that you go to war for it?
I'm not a very warlike sort of person, but I hope that if push came to shove and you know our basic values were tested and only won back by... I mean, it's interesting that you asked that question at the time when the Middle East seems to be erupting and all of these tyrants are being overthrown by movements of the people. And I think it's very humbling, actually, to see what the Egyptians did without going to war somehow just silently demanded their human rights and overthrew the 30-year reign of a tyrant. So I hope that I would be as strong. I mean, I think they risked everything to do that. And it's easier sometimes to fight, and sometimes it's better not to.
Mm. Wow, that was a much deeper answer than I was expecting. Thank you very much. Just one final question, I suppose, is about, I mean, it was the film looked amazing, and it was clearly all shot in the perfect terrain for this film. Were there any particular challenges to get that just right for you?
There were nothing but challenges. Nothing but challenge, from teaching Jamie Bell, who'd never been on a horse before, to ride like somebody who'd been riding for 20 years, to the fight training. Of course, they're both dancers. Channing and Jamie know how to learn choreography, and that's what fighting is in the end in movies, sequences of movements that you have to sell as an actor. To getting to all of these impossible locations that Kevin had chosen, which looked wonderful but are almost impossible to service, and getting the crew there. You know, we had a lot of 4x4 vehicles around. We went in locations where people had to wear hard hats and, you know, down in a canyon with the raging river. The crew were unbelievably supportive.